Hey everybody, Chelsea here with a brand new Sims 4 speed build. I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to get another one of these out. I've had so much going on. I've had family visiting from out of state, and some car trouble, and busy with work, and cleaning, just so many things. But finally, I found some time to shove myself into the closet to record the audio. I actually have a couple builds. The video is just floating around, and I just need to record the audio, so here I go. This video is going to be uploaded on a Friday, which will mark me finally getting back to the normal uploading schedule of Mondays and Fridays, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. This build is an apartment refurb that I'm doing, kind of inspired by more industrial looking buildings where there's all the exposed brick and old wood floors and pipes and things exposed and stuff like that. So I picked this apartment specifically because it has the balcony, and I just feel like it's the most fun one to refurbish, I think. I was thinking of doing a couple more refurbishings or doing like the 20,000 simoleon challenge where you just get one of the base lots and you refurbish it for 20,000 simoleons. And I would be super interested in doing that, so let me know in the comments if you guys want to see anything like that, or if you have any other ideas. That would be super cool. I would love some inspiration right about now. I do have some ideas in the works, but I would really love to hear what you guys want to see, because I do this for you guys. I could build every day, all day for myself, but I record and I edit and I do all this stuff so you guys can check these things out and see them, and I hope you find it entertaining. So right now I'm just kind of feeling the basic layout and figuring where everything should go, because I ended up making the main living space really big. I wanted this to be one of those open floor plans. So the only actual rooms in here it's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and it does have a utility closet, which I was really making this apartment kind of more upscaled, even though it's a refurb and it's supposed to be more industrial and raw looking. There are some amenities in here that I don't think any of the other apartments have, like a washer and dryer I end up putting in there in the utility closet. But it took me a little while to figure out like color scheme and how to utilize this space as much as possible. That becomes the utility closet there. So there's just like a really small entry hallway, and I thought that kind of worked. I feel like it just gives a break from the entry and the rest of the apartment, so the entirety of the apartment is just this big, airy, open floor plan. And really, just filling out the space was the more difficult part of this, because I wanted to make sure everything had a purpose, and I really wanted to bring the green inside as well, because a lot of times with apartments there's not a lot of opportunity for growing spaces, and since this has the balcony, I really wanted to use that for greenery and plants, and I wanted to fill everything inside with plants, and just so that it, even though it's in the city and it has this industrial vibe, it still has a bit of nature to it. I always love that contrast in that kind of style of, I guess, decorating and things like that, where it's, you know, you've got exposed pipes and you've got the old brick, but there's still like greenery kind of coming in and reclaiming, you know, nature's coming back. It's just the urban gardens and things like that really are super cool. Like rooftop gardens and community gardens are just the coolest things, I think. And here I'm just trying to fill in the walls, because there's just so much wall space in here because it's such an open floor plan, that I really, really, really wanted to make sure that these walls weren't necessarily busy, but there's just a lot visually going on to keep it interesting and hip and cool and kind of modern, I guess. And I mean, oh my gosh, I really love that folding partition. It is so beautiful. I'm totally going to use that in almost every build from now on, I bet you. That's going to be my new herb drying rack. Instead of putting the herbs in every single build, now I'm just going to put that mirrored partition in every single one. And I really loved that I just put up the paintings that are just slightly different but in the same color scheme. I really love paintings like that where you can just get it as a set. Each one's different, but it's still in the same set and it's related and looks like it's supposed to be together. I ended up leaving the kitchen kind of empty, I guess. I didn't want to clutter up the counter space too much because while the sitting area has a lot of room on it, that is the only sitting area that I put in here. I didn't put a dining table or anything in this build, so that's the only place you have to eat. So I didn't really want to put too much else on the counters because you are going to need counter space to make your food and put stuff out on. So I'm just, putting a little bit here and there, making it a little more lived in. And I love that painting. Or picture, whatever it is. I think it's supposed to be like a really, really close up of a leaf. I think it's just so cool. And it's natural, but it still looks modern and hip and, hip and with it, I guess. I don't know. Whatever the kids these days are saying, I have no idea what they're saying half the time anymore. I'm not even that old, but I can't. I'm losing it. I'm up with the meme culture, but anything else that's happening in the world, just no idea. But here I am just trying to figure out the curtain situation for right here because unfortunately with these apartments, the outer walls, you can't change where the windows are. And I really wanted to just move that over a smidge so it's not on top of the counters because I was just having trouble with the curtains, but I figured it out. It was just a lot of trial and error to figure out what's going to fit because I don't like putting long curtains behind counters or behind tables. And here I'm just putting a little bit in the entryway just so it's not so completely bare. And again, just some more plants, trying to figure out and take a look at what some of the plants are because there are a lot of plants that are low light and perfect for indoors. And so I was trying to make sure that at least the majority of the ones I put inside are, or at least look like they would be those kind of plants. And in the bathroom, I really, really, really wanted to build sort of like a closet around those exposed pipes, but it just wouldn't let me. There was just not enough room. So I think I end up putting a partition in there too. Not the mirrored one. I didn't go too crazy with that one. But in the bedroom, I really tried to also utilize the space as much as I could, and I did end up having a little bit of trouble filling it in. I don't know what it was about this build. I knew what I wanted it to look like, but the apartment itself ended up being a lot bigger than I expected, and I really didn't want to tack on another bedroom or anything because then the living space would start to get smaller, and I really just wanted this to be a one-bedroom apartment where the one bedroom is pretty big. There's a lot of room in there. You could, if you wanted to put two beds in there, you could, just two twin sizes or whatever, have two Sims living together but sleeping separately. You can put a full-size bed in there, not compromise on space. And I kind of kept with the natural theme in here too a little bit. It's just kind of, industrial green. I don't know what exactly to call it. If you guys know what a term would be for what the heck I'm talking about and what this concept is, drop it in the comments. I know what it is, but I just cannot. It's right there and it's just out of reach. It's so close and I just cannot get my brain to conjure it up. But here I think I was having a little bit of trouble with my laptop. Yeah, it got a little bit janky here. I don't know what was going on. I had to restart this build several times, and I don't really know why. I'm actually, one of the builds that I'm just finishing up right now, I have a lot of landscaping going on. Surprise, I did a lot of landscaping, and I'm actually kind of worried because sometimes it really slows down, and I'm thinking it might just be too much greenery and too many plant objects for my poor little laptop to handle. Because, yeah, by the way, I do this all on a laptop, not a desktop. I don't really know if I'm ever gonna get, eventually I'll probably get a desktop, but I don't think I'm gonna get one anytime soon, so sometimes I have to slow it down and really just prioritize some things in builds because then my laptop just seizes up and refuses to do what I want it to do. But everything's been fine so far. So I'm shrinking down all of these floor plants just so there's a little bit more variety on the shelves. I don't understand why such little amount of objects auto snap to shelves. I don't really know what that's all about. Like, there's really just a handful of things that you can actually just snap to shelves. I mean, it doesn't really matter when you can just move things up and down and make them smaller so they fit. But still, it just seems like a weird choice on the developer's part to have such a little amount of things, but so many different kinds of shelves at the same time. Like, there are a lot of types of shelves, but not a whole lot that you can just put on them without doing a little bit of work and editing for it. And even though I have a lot of green as kind of the accent color, I guess, in here, it's still pretty muted and it's still very basic. And I kind of liked that because while I put a good amount of personalized stuff in here, I still felt like you could move a sim in and customize it yourself and put some extra things in here to really make it your own without having to go crazy with selling a bunch of stuff or editing a bunch of stuff. It's ready to move in and also ready to customize, I think. And I'm just trying to fill up this wall here. I think I just give up at this point. I think that's kind of all that I put there. Yeah, I got the 2 pictures of plants and the mirror, and that's it. And then the bathroom, which I wasn't really sure what to do about. Yeah, I ended up putting that partition there. And I kind of went back and forth with this bathroom for a little bit because I was torn between making it, just like a nice blue bathroom or making it look more like the rest of the apartment. And I was just kind of thinking back to apartments that I've lived in and apartments that I've visited, and I just remember one of our friends who lives down in Richmond had this gorgeous clawfoot bathtub in her apartment. Actually, I think it might have been a townhouse, but whatever, in her townhouse. And it was just the cutest little touch. Like, there were so many cute architectural things about the building that I loved. So I ended up going with this tub with just the sheer shower curtain because it just kind of fit a little bit better with some of the exposed plumbing and stuff like that. And so I do end up going with blue. I keep it just kind of natural and a little bit empty in here just because I figured whoever's living here probably doesn't want to completely clutter up their bathroom with stuff because, again, it's not their bathroom. It's because they're renting. And it just makes things easier to keep tidy and clean if you just keep it kind of bare in there. It's still super cute, and I definitely am happy with how it came out, but I didn't really want to put too much stuff in here. And then I moved out to the balcony, which I really wanted to make the balcony sort of an activity area, I guess you could say. So I end up putting some things out here for your Sims to do. I do put some seats, and of course I put a bunch of plants out there as well. And I do end up putting a bonsai tree and some actual square plots for planting because I figured your sim might want to do some urban gardening and maybe make like a tomato plant or some carrots, potatoes, whatever, just to cut down on food expenses. Grow your own outside where you can and grow your own produce. Have it nice and fresh. Just walk out onto the balcony, pick it off the vine, something like that. So nice. I'm actually doing that here at my house. I've got a bunch of stuff growing in the backyard. We're counting down until summer is over. And so a lot of the plants I'm going to have to bring inside sooner than later, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. It'll be my first time actually bringing herbs and things indoors and trying to make them live through the winter, so hopefully that'll work out. And I'm just putting a bunch of plants everywhere, surprise, surprise, and just some ivy coming out from those boxes. I really thought those boxes were just so cute, and they're just wild enough that they're not unkempt, but they're just so visually interesting, I think, instead of just like the cookie cutter window boxes with the pretty little white flowers in it and it's all nice and neat. Here I'm just trying to figure out what kind of outdoor lighting I really want to do with the space because I didn't want to put a bunch of lights all over the place because that would just kind of be a weird thing to have on the balcony. So I end up putting these string lights up because I thought that would be a cute way, a cheap way to add some atmospheric lighting outside and I think it looks super cute. And so now the last bit that I need to do is just work on the utility closet. I did want to put a washer and dryer back here and some extra stuff. I assume that it's the fuse box or the electric panel that's in here. I figured this would be a really good way to cover that up so it's not seen from the main living area. And just putting a little bit of stuff here and there, the broom and the dustpan, cleaning supplies, shelves with stuff in them. And I just leave it kind of bare because there's not really a whole lot that you can use this room for, and there's not really a whole lot that you would be doing in there. Yep, now I'm just going to finish off with some lighting. I did put that desk lamp on there, but it really doesn't do a whole lot. So I just kind of went with those standard ceiling lights that you see in pretty much every rental ever in every older house ever. And I put some neat industrial lighting up too, and I put those just sort of naked exposed bulbs over the dining area because I thought that it would just be a really nice visual. Whoever lives here like is on point with their design, I think. And so that is my industrial apartment refurb. I really hope you enjoyed this build. I had a lot of fun figuring this one out, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. If you enjoyed this build, don't forget to click like, leave a comment with any suggestions you might have for future builds, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Oh, I found it. Oh, perfect. Good. Frick yeah, we're in business. All right. I'm like screaming into this thing. Oh man, I peaked so much. Let's do this. Woo! Apartment refurb. You know how to use words. You've used them before. You can use them now. I smell like beef.